What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for being here. We are going to jump right the fuck in today. So, one of the things that I instill into my clients is building on the courage to ask the questions that they want to ask, okay? One of the big things is like getting so courageous with your question asking because, one, it's going to save you emotional investment. It's going to save you time if you're a high quality human being. And if you're a high quality human being, you know that time is money, baby. Okay? When someone wastes your time, it should be very upsetting to you because that is something that you can't get back. You can get money back. You can get pretty much everything else back in this world except for your time. So if people are out here wasting your damn time, wasting your emotional investment, you're going to want to know as soon as possible so you can cut that off or decide how you're going to navigate it through different boundary setting. But I would suggest cutting that off. And you're going to save yourself a shitload of time and emotional investment. Okay? Asking direct questions. Obviously, like from a place of groundedness and like knowing what you want instead of it coming from the fear of being needy. Because I've had people come to me and be like, how do I ask questions on a date without it being a fucking interview? And to be honest with you, that really just comes down to your energy. Because literally, first date, third date, 10th date, whatever the fuck it is, I have no issue with anybody that I meet asking them specific questions about their history, the way that they respond in conflict, their deepest traumas. I don't know, maybe it's because I do the work and it's like normal for me to just kind of ask those questions. And so maybe, but I've just kind of always been like this because I always want to gain a deeper understanding of people and why they operate the way that they do. And not only that, is like when you ask those questions, it shows how deeply you fucking trust yourself, how deeply you're confident in yourself, because you're not afraid of what the answer is going to be. Okay? Not only are you not afraid of what the answer is going to be when you start asking the questions that you really want to ask instead of the surface level ask questions, what's going to happen is like sometimes you're going to get answers that are unfavorable. Like you wish that they had answered it differently. Or you can see by their response that they might not be a person who's into self-development or they haven't done the work on themselves, right? And so asking the direct questions, I just want to encourage you to do it. Like, you're not going to scare away the right person by asking direct questions. In fact, that's a motherfucking turn on. If somebody be asking me about my self-development, asking me about how I respond in conflict, I'd be like, oh my God, what? Insta what? Anyway, what I've noticed in people is that they'll have an off feeling, but they won't want to ask the question because they're afraid that their off feeling will be right and it will ruin the situation. Okay? Raise your hand if that's been you before. That was me before. And a lot of the clients that I work with, that's one of the gaps that I highlight for them because they don't actually know that they're doing that. It's like they're so used to kind of writing off red flags, dismissing them, even if they're subtle red flags, even if they're yellow flags. Like, no. Look, the fucking person that you're becoming, she's not afraid to ask those questions. She's not afraid of what the answer is going to be because at the end of the day, she knows, okay, I'm fucking regulated. I know how to respond to these things. I know that I have choice in this too. Like if I don't like the response, that I have choice to either explore it more and see if it changes, or I have the choice to be like, this is not in alignment with me. And doesn't mean the other person is bad or wrong. It's just, you know what you want. Okay? That's why you're asking the courageous questions. Because you know what you want. Yes, it's a filter. Yeah, maybe it is a fucking interview. And it doesn't have to be an interview. Like, I'm obviously joking because nobody wants to like go on a date and feel like they're being interviewed for a role. But technically, that's kind of what dating is, right? It's like you're getting to know the person to see if they're in alignment with your lifestyle and in alignment with you as a person, right? Doesn't mean that you have to be the exact same person. Obviously not. We learn from each other's differences, and I think that there's like really deep beauty in that. But, you know, I really just want you to be able to learn how to ask the hard questions, and I promise you that it gets easier, and like you don't have to you won't feel like it's hard anymore to ask those questions. Like, you just won't, because you've put in the reps, and like you've heard it all too. You've probably already heard it all already without asking the questions because you're intuitive as fuck. But okay, I want to circle back to the point around like I did have somebody come to me and they're like, how do I ask these questions without it feeling like an interview or like interrogative? And again, that comes down to your energy, and it comes down to how safe you feel in your body. Like, if I'm on a date, or maybe I'm not even on a date, maybe I'm just like fucking meeting somebody, right? I'm not asking questions like, I mean, maybe I'm asking these questions, but it comes down to your energy, like I'm saying. So if I'm asking questions like with a hurried tone and like a high-pitched voice, and like I'm shaking and like my breathing is off, like people are gonna sense that. Even if you're not shaking, like if your breathing's off, if you're not like grounded in asking these questions, yeah, they're gonna feel your fear coming through when you're asking those questions, right? And if this happens for you, like, you don't have to shame yourself for it. Like, it doesn't make you wrong that these responses are coming up. A lot of the times there are trauma responses that are showing up because you don't want to be hurt again. So your nervous system is playing its role by trying to protect you. Your brain is playing its role by trying to protect you, by asking questions, by trying to predict certainty. Okay, that's why we ask questions, because we want to know the truth. As human beings, we want to know the truth. We want reassurance. We want to have certainty, right? With that being said, the only certainty that you can provide yourself with, because people's behaviors can change, things can just change, right? And like for the better usually. But the only thing that you can really control is your energy, your thoughts, the way that you feel in your body, and that takes work and building on a secure emotional foundation. Okay? That's when you hire me, by the way. So if you're feeling like nervous as fuck on these dates, or just like talking to people, and you're like, damn, I feel like I'm like interviewing them because I just want to know the truth about everything, and it's like very early on in the relationship or early on in the dating stages, and you're just like, I just need that certainty, right? Again, let's look at your attachment styles. Now, I'm bringing up these things, by the way, like attachment styles, nervous system stuff, like all of the things that you know, I talk about, that I teach, that I embody. But I also don't want you to if these feelings come up, to fully label yourself with these things, because I think these things are great to help you understand, but then I think that they can be very harmful sometimes. Like even attachment theory, it's a great theory, don't get me wrong, but I've just seen so many of my clients, and even myself at one point, where like I got like obsessed with attachment theory. When in the past I used to be like very anxiously attached, and it became a part of my identity because I was like resonating with everything that I was reading. I was like, oh my God, like this is me. And like, yeah, like there was parts of me that were showing up, but I wasn't like fully anxiously attached. Like I had other parts of me that were very secure. And so just be careful, like even though like what I'm saying, it's great to know these things, but it's great to have like discernment as well too. Okay. Okay. So, I'm losing my train of thought here. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next point, because your girl gotta go to sleep. It's 11:38 at night. I gotta be up for my somatic EMDR course in like 8 hours. What am I doing recording a podcast episode past my bedtime? I don't know, but that's fine. Anyway, so one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself and anyone involved is just ask the questions you want to know the answers to, including oh my gosh, everybody is so scared to ask this fucking question, and I'm just like, that should be the first fucking question that you're asking. Are you single? Does anybody think that they're in a relationship with you? Will anybody be upset if they know that we are talking, having feelings for each other, out on a date? Are you married? Ask the question. And let me tell you, whatever their response is, use your fucking intuition. Okay? Use your intuition. And whatever the response is, it doesn't have to mean anything about your worth or future success or availability for high quality people. Okay? When I say use your intuition, someone can tell you, and okay, I'm not projecting this to happen to you, by the way, okay? But I'm just saying these scenarios happen where someone can tell you, oh, I'm single, and then you find out that they're married or that they have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay? Not a good feeling. I know. And I know this has happened to so many people. Many of my clients that I've worked with, this has happened where they've fallen in love with somebody and then they find out that they have a partner. And it's devastating. It's fucking devastating. And it's a really difficult situation to be in, right? And so use your intuition. Like, when someone is talking to you, like, yes, people can be great liars too, don't get me wrong. But I really feel that deep down, we always do know. And if we don't, that it comes to light. And when it does come to light, we have choice of what to do with that. And trust yourself that if you end up in a situation like that, you ask the questions. You are not the one, if you are being lied to, like, you are not the one who lied. You asked for clarity. Now, it's the other person's responsibility to be in integrity with the way that they're answering, especially these questions, especially in the dating world, okay? So, just want to make that clear, okay? So whatever their response is, use your intuition and remember that their response has nothing to do with your worth or your future success or availability of high quality people. So if you're asking direct questions and like they're not open to sharing, like maybe they have good reasons that they're not open to sharing, that has nothing to do with you. Okay? Maybe they're not open to sharing because they're hiding something. That has nothing to do with you. That does not mean that you are not of worth of receiving somebody who is trustworthy and I want to say an open book. I think it's great to be an open book because everything's just out on the table. And to be an open book about everything, like not just the good things, but, you know, past mistakes, past errors, past trauma, whatever it is that comes up. Like, I just think that that's a really beautiful thing to be. So, again, whatever their responses has nothing to do with you in the current moment. It's not related to your worth. And it also doesn't determine your future access to people who are high quality. The person that you are calling in, who you do want to be open with you, who is going to be honest with you and in integrity with you, loyal, faithful, all the things. The person who is not being honest with you or whatever it is, like that just has nothing to do with your future. Okay? It's not going to impact your future. Okay? So if you want to create a relationship where you're respected, you're valued, and you're devoted to, it's absolutely crucial for you to learn how to ask these questions without interrogating or interviewing them, and even if it feels uncomfortable for you, okay? Like I said, in the beginning, it's going to feel weird as fuck. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're probably going to be asking it awkwardly. You might be stuttering. You might feel your heart palpitating, and that's okay. Putting in the reps for this, practicing when you're even not with this person, but or just in general, if like you're dating or whoever it is that you're focusing on, okay? Practice asking these questions when you're on your own. Practice Practice standing firm in your feet, planting your feet into the floor, feeling yourself grounded and powerful, and saying, I'm so safe in my body. Okay, place your hand on your heart. I'm so safe in my body that I'm not afraid of somebody's answer to my question. Like, think about it. Think about how I just worded that. Being afraid of somebody's answer to your question because you're wanting honesty. You're wanting to start a relationship off or a connection off. Clean slate. It says a lot about your character, you wanting to do that. Right? Now it's just about the courage to do that and to take action with that. And how the other person responds. Not on you. Okay? But you get to choose what you want to do with the information that they are giving you. Okay? It might feel uncomfortable. Allow yourself to be in that discomfort. Allow yourself to fully be in that discomfort of like, I don't like asking these questions. It feels weird. I want to know the answer, but I don't want to ask it. Okay? And notice where that discomfort comes up in your body. Does it come up in your chest? Do you feel tension? Maybe your shoulders hike up. Maybe you start to collapse. Okay? Noticing where that's happening in your body, and then going back home when you're on your own and just practicing, okay, so I noticed that my shoulders were rounding. I noticed that I felt tension in my chest. How can I soften into this and practice like paying attention to those areas of my body when I'm in the situation again? Okay? Baby, this is all school. Okay? What do we do in school? We went there every damn day. We made mistakes. We got not so great grades on certain papers and great grades on certain papers because we learned to build on those skills, right? It's the same thing when you're looking to create a conscious relationship and have a healthy relationship. And when you're in the dating scene too, like, this is perfect practice. Perfect practice for when you're in like a long-term relationship and you have to ask the hard questions. Okay? Just come back home to yourself and notice where the tension's showing up in your body when you are asking those questions, and practice softening into it. Okay, maybe placing your hands on those places, like maybe you feel it in like your solar plexus area. Maybe you place your hand on your solar plexus and say, hey, okay, like what is the sensation trying to tell me? I'm feeling like knots in my stomach. I feel really gross. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes rotten. Maybe that's something that comes up for you. I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass right now. Okay. And asking what's beneath that. And letting it come to surface. Okay. Because sometimes those emotions, those feelings, those sensations, they have to come to surface fully, which means it feels intense at first. And then as you go through similar situations, you know, okay, I'm feeling it in this area. So I know that when I'm asking this question in person, maybe I'm going to put my hand on my stomach and my solar plexus and ask the question to signal to my body that I am safe to ask this question. I'm safe to receive that answer. I'm so safe to receive that fucking answer no matter what the fuck it is, because I motherfucking trust myself. I trust myself completely and fully. Nobody's answer is going to fucking sway me. And I'm intuitive as fuck. So regardless of their answer, I'm going to be reading their energy. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, that's when you hire me too. We work with energetics. We work from a holistic standpoint. Okay? I promise you, it will get more comfortable once you put in the reps and you actually learn how to do this from a genuine space of confidence. Okay? Ask the motherfucking questions, guys. You don't want to be laying on your deathbed thinking, I should have asked so-and-so this 10 years ago. Or I should have told so-and-so this 10 years ago, but I was too scared of their response. Like, you're literally selling yourself short by doing that. I'm going to tell you a story. Y'all are going to think, maybe you won't think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. I think I literally just follow my intuition. Whatever comes of it, comes of it. I've done this on 2 occasions. Mind you, this was probably very inappropriate for the person on the other side, but I went for it. I had this one doctor. I was so young when this happened. Oh my God. I was like, I don't know. I was in high school. Yeah, I was in motherfucking high school when this happened. This doctor, he was so nice. He was young. Like, I don't think he was that much older than me. He must have been in like college. I think because he was like a student doctor at my family doctor's office. And he was just so nice, like so kind, so down to earth. He was so gentle. He was just such a safe person. And he was so handsome too. And I had like seen him on a couple occasions because I was like going there frequently for whatever. I don't even remember why I was at the doctor's for it, but I was like seeing him like weeks in a row, and I was like, oh my God, like I need to talk to this guy. What did I do? I wrote his ass a card. I wrote his ass a card, and I was like, hey, how are you? This is how I feel about you. And I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but it's really important for me to express how I feel. I know we don't really know each other, but I feel a connection. Imagine a high schooler writing a student doctor this fucking card. And me, being the courageous motherfucker that I am, I fucking gave that to him. I did not hear from him, which is okay. Surprisingly, as a teenager, I handled it very well. I was like, eh. I said what I had to say. I said what I had to fucking say. And I don't know, like, I don't really remember if I made it mean something about me or not. Probably not. Probably not at that time. But I remember telling one of my family friends that I did it. He's just like, you're fucking crazy. He's probably reading this with all his guy friends and laughing. And I was just like, I don't care if that's what he does, which I don't think that's what he did, because like he was just such a kind man. I just can't see him making fun of someone who's expressing their heart. But like, of course, like from a professional standpoint, like he couldn't have even responded back to me, you know? Anyway, yeah. And like, so this family friend, who's not a part of our family anymore, by the way, I'm out here calling people out. Anyway, he was like, you're fucking crazy. He's probably laughing about this with all his boys. He's probably showing all his boys. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I stayed true to myself. I told him really nice things about him that I think are true and that are genuine, you know? So he can laugh a little about his boys, but I kid you not, he will not fucking forget me and forget how that letter made him feel. I just have that impact, that effect on people. And I'm proud of it. So this is what I mean. I mean, I didn't necessarily ask him a question. Maybe I did in the card. I don't remember exactly what I wrote him, but I know that I definitely expressed my feelings for him. And if I didn't do that, I would have never known. Okay, yeah, he didn't respond back to me, but that's okay. 1, he had to think of his job. 2, I was in high school and he was in college. And like, it just doesn't even matter. That act of trusting myself, that act of following my intuition, that act of expression, regardless of how the other person received it, that is true devotion. And that's exactly what we talk about on the devotional podcast here. That's true devotion to self. That's devotion to God too, because I wrote that letter. I wrote that card, whatever it was, from my heart. Okay? And that came from God. That feeling that I felt, that connection that I felt, that was a divine connection, regardless if I met him only a few times. You know, I'm a huge believer in like, I think it's great to take things slow, and I talk about that a lot in my content because I do think that creates safety. And then I also have these thoughts and have experienced this in my own personal life. They're not just thoughts, they're personal life experiences where I've met people and just known right away that I love them or that I really care about them. And I just know. And that's what happens when your intuitive gifts are completely open. And it might seem crazy to other people. Now, I'm not saying every person I meet that, I'm like, oh my God, I love you. No, it's not like that. But there have been certain people in my life where I have met them and known them for a very short period of time, and I loved them. And I think that that's a beautiful thing to know, because I just believe that there's certain people that we come here who we've had past lives with, and we made that agreement to come back and meet each other. And that's why we feel so strongly. That's why, we have a soul contract, right? So just trust your intuition when it comes to everything. Be courageous. Trust your intuition. Ask the motherfucking questions, because you don't want to have any regrets. And I don't want that for you. Anyway, your girl has to go to bed. It is 12 o'clock, but I had to get this episode out to you because it was inside of me. I needed to speak on it. And truly, it's just such an honor spending time with you guys and making this for you, because I just know how much it helps you guys. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, send this to them. You don't know how it's going to impact their life. If this resonated with you, DM me. Tell me what was your favorite part. Tell me if you've done something quote unquote crazy as fuck like I did and wrote a fucking doctor. No, I've done this on 2 occasions. I just didn't tell you the other occasion because I need to go to bed. But tell me your crazy love stories that are probably not actually that crazy. It's just society makes us feel like that, right? Anyway, I love you. I can't wait to hear about your stories when you ask the direct question and you ask the courageous questions, and how you respond to it and how you feel in your body. And if you're ready for the deeper work to not only just be able to ask the courageous questions, but to build a really foundational, secure relationship with yourself so that you can thrive in intimacy and in love on deeper levels, the levels that you imagine, that you've been dreaming of since you were a little girl, little boy. I promise you that those dreams are so attainable, but it all starts from within. Okay. It would help me so much if you rated the podcast, followed it. If you're watching on YouTube, if you left a comment. If you're watching on Spotify, left a comment. Wherever you're streaming this from, just support the podcast so this can get out to the people who need it. It would be so helpful for me. So thank you. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode.